Hey, Sampath here from SaaS. It's nice seeing you today. So in this session, I'm going to discuss with you how to build your product into a better product with the help of the feedback from your own community. Welcome to Product Drive. This is going to be an exciting session. And I believe I can also share notes with you, but then I'm not sure, but then I'll always share the notes with you, with the team. So you can always get it from the team. Before we get started, at SaaS, we have built over 7,000 plus active community of B2B entrepreneurs for the last 3 years. So, and I have been a part of the company for a while now, and climbed all the way up to head of growth today. However, I have also been a part of the head of growth. At SaaS, we have a product as a part of the growth team as well. So ideally, I also work with the product team to get things done day in and day out, so on and on. So without much ado, let's get started with how you could get started building a better product with the help of your own community. So ideally, when we talk about the community, you don't have to go for anything fancier than just getting started with the Facebook group, right? It's very easy, it's very simple, it's free. You can either get started with the Facebook group or with the LinkedIn group. So these two are super simple, but otherwise, there's tons of community-based softwares out there. For example, Tribe, Circle.so, Disciple, there's lots and lots of community-based tools out there. But then there are some challenges when it comes to using those tools over using a Facebook or LinkedIn group. I'll come to that a bit later because that's ideally not the topic for today's session. So how exactly you can utilize your community to pull ideas for the future, right? So here is where things are going to get interesting because this is not something new in the market. Some big biggies like ClickFunnels, MinChat, and ClickUp, they have been collecting ideas and feedback and suggestions by working with their own Facebook group members. So ideally, these members are either their customers or people who wanting to become their customers. I mean, I have joined some of these groups even before I became customers, but that's up to you to decide. You can let people in who have not used a product, or you can allow only people who have used a product. ClickFunnels took this one step extra by having a separate group for their affiliates alone. So once again, I'm moving that aside. Let's focus on the community feedback for the product's growth, right? So essentially, when you are going to talk to people one-on-one, I don't know what exactly would you do when you want to start collecting feedback from your customers. The best thing that you could do is send a survey, or even the better thing to do is try sending an email, try to jump on the customers and jump on a call with your customers, and then try collecting feedback, go with a questionnaire, so on and on. But then that's so old, that's so 90s, right? You don't want to do them today, ideally for two reasons. One, there is not enough time in the world. Your mama have no time, right? So it's totally it just clustered everywhere, and you have to work on a lot of things and just no time. Two, your competitor is always a few steps ahead of you, which means you got to save your time as much as possible, in the best ways possible, so that you can start working on your product. So which means but that doesn't mean that you should not be focusing on your customers, but then you can bring all your customers under one roof, which is where the sense of community comes in. Now, don't just run a group or start a group or in a sort of community. I'm just going to call this as a group during this entire session because that's much easier. So within your group, you can start sharing your product updates, change logs, you can ask questions, and most importantly, your group can potentially help you reduce your support tickets. Because let's just say Steve and me are two different customers. The only options they have had until yesterday was to, even for a minor change in the billing settings or the email alerts or whatever the product updates are, they have to contact your support and get some information. But instead, Steve and Mary today, now that you have started a community, started a group, they can just post a question, and when Steve posts a question, Mary is going to take a look at it and she's going to answer, and vice versa. which is going to save a lot of time for you. Now, how is that going to be helpful for you to build a better product? Here is how. So ClickUp has been utilizing the power of community. They have a very, very active Facebook group. I have been a part of it as well because we use ClickUp at SaaS Mantra. So what they do is like there's a constant way of, they're consistently, all the customers, I would say like our majority of the active customers, they keep on posting questions about how they could use ClickUp for their own business. There are people who from the video creation agencies or digital agencies or e-commerce owners or small coaches, consultants, freelancers, like ideally ClickUp is a product that's trying to compete with someone like Monday, which is super flexible. So now they are utilizing the power of community to pull for more ideas, more use cases, more references to get like a lot of ideas on what exactly they should be building next. But they didn't stop there. What they also did is like they have created a roadmap tool where they have been collecting all the feedback. And then they are asking, and when you're going to ask them for like, hey, can I have this feature for the support? They're just going to point you to the roadmap tool where you can see like all those features that are already being requested for. You can just go ahead and upvote for those features. That is like very, very important. Now, this gives ClickUp sitting on a gold mine. So basically, they have been collecting this feedback for a very, very long time, and it's much easier to put together all the features they have been planning to build, painting the future of ClickUp when presented to the investors or planning ahead of time of what exactly they want to build, etc. ManyChat has been doing this for years, and ClickUp has, ClickFunnels have been doing this for almost a decade. They have like extremely active Facebook group I've ever seen. They have like nearly 75,000 plus members who have been actively sharing how exactly they have been using it and what are the troubles they have come across, so on and on. So each and every single feedback, each and every single thing they're going to share, that's going to keep your community active, as well as you're going to constantly just be assign a couple of moderators and ask them to collect a lot of feedback for you. And that is good enough to fill your roadmap for like next few months or maybe like next few years. So with that said, there's a plenty of insights you can basically collect from those feedback and from those discussions that are happening inside your group. Now, I'll also give you a very specific example of how this could potentially work. For instance, we are also using Hubspot at SaaS Mantra. So Hubspot has this very, very interesting policy of, let's just say, like we are paying per user. And now, let's just say we have been paying like for 10 users annually, and we have paid the bill upfront. And then, unfortunately, like 2 of our staff has left after 6 months. They automatically start adjusting their billing accordingly, which means, say, instead of being billed for 10 users for the entire year, you'll only be billed for 8 users after 6 months. So this will help you automatically adjust the bill, which also means that you don't have to shell out the same amount every single year. Maybe you will get like an extra 2 months based on how the bill is getting adjusted. So one of the companies that I have noticed who does this is Slack, right? Now, speaking of which, going back to ClickUp, I have asked this to ClickUp team, and the first thing they told me is like, hey, the idea is interesting, but then we don't bill our systems, bill our customers that way. Our system is not set up that way. And I have been like consistently asking for them on the Facebook group. The next thing they did is like they added it to a part of the roadmap, and then they shared the link with me. Hey Sam, we have added your suggestion to the roadmap, which instantly makes me believe that these guys are listening to. Super important, right? Now, they also told me one other thing. So feel free to share this with other ClickUp users you know of. If you're going to get like more upvotes, we can prioritize this for you. Fantastic, right? So basically, they are bringing in the ripple effect of the sense of like sharing whatever that I wanted ClickUp to become as within the community. On top of that, they are also asking me to share what exactly that I have been anticipating to achieve. They want me to share that with other users as well. So this is like a fantastic win-win scenario for them, bringing in the viral referral effect as well. So we have been doing this at SaaS Mantra for so many products that we're bringing in, because based on how many people are going to be wanting the feature, only then you as a product owner can start building those features, right? Now, whatever Hubstaff has achieved before starting to build a community, ClickUp has been starting to achieve that with the help of a community. And just taking these as like two simple examples, just to give you an idea of how you could be saving time, where Hubstaff has put in a lot of time to research this, probably, or maybe they have just got the idea from Slack to achieve this. So ClickUp has done this easily with the help of the community-based feedback of what features they should be building, right? With that said, when you start a Facebook group or LinkedIn group or any kind of like a tools that you want to use it for your own community, all the feedback they're going to collect, right? You're probably going to collect like lots of feedback, but every single feedback that you collect, you make sure you're going to have to organize, put it tabulated some way, so you can either make it public or you can have it on your own. So you can start with as simple as something like Trello. Just put all the feedback, see whichever the ones that you can build easily, put them on like coming up soon, something of that sort, and then put everything else under like ideas, suggestions, recommendations. Basically, just have like a Kanban board where people can see what exactly the team behind your product is working on. So this will also help you get like more credibility, because one, you are actively listening to users, and two, you are someone who is looking into the future. It's not like, because SaaS world is something where you have to constantly roll out like new updates and stuff. So, but now your customers can see where exactly the product is being headed. So, and this will also help you in terms of marketing efforts, because when the upcoming features are already listed on the roadmap, you can start prioritizing, or you can start planning your marketing activities better, much easier, right? So make sure to start the feedback and keep them organized as well. Now, moving on to the next part is validating your ideas with your early stage adopters. So this is something that has happened very frequently at SaaS Mentor, because we identify the early stage products and then we bring them on board, introducing the product to our customers and so on. Now, before we start building, I mean, most of the time these products that we're bringing on board, they don't have a community already. But then I always recommend them to build a Facebook group or something to get started with interacting with your customers. Don't go for Slack, because that's not like ideal community that you can manage and maintain, because with the free plan, you can only collect so much messages and you could easily get lost. So have something that's like easily social for your end users as well. Slack is something that you and I love, but not your customers and our customers, right? So make it like something much simpler, where they can just log in and then they can just, as an everyday activity, they can just take a look at it. They don't have to log in somewhere, download a new app. Don't push them into that. Now, with that said, how do you validate your ideas with your early adopters? With your early stage customers. Now, before you start building any feature, right, always ask your community of how exactly, let's just say that you're planning to build an email follow-up tool, right? Email follow-up as a part of your tool. So before you start building that, shout out that person to your community of customers, ask them what industries they're from and how would they use this feature for their business. That becomes the gold mine, because everyone is going to be starting to recommend you of how exactly they are anticipating to start using this particular feature they're planning to build. So with that feedback, you can easily fine-tune and refine what exactly that you wanted to build before you could start building. This could potentially save lots of money and lots of time for you. And then, here's a simple example. Apple does this very effectively. But then they don't even ask their customers, because they're sitting on like tons of data. So they don't even have to ask their customers what features would you like to see. They basically check how their customers, like you and I, we are using the Apple products. They collect all the statistics, and based on that, they come up with the features for the next Apple product. So, but then you are not Apple, and you know that well, right? So It's very important that you have to talk to your community and then ask them what features they must be building, what features that you are building, on how exactly they are anticipating to use those features. Always shoot the question. So now, based on their feedback, you can once again go back to your chart or to your drawing board, and then you can discuss with your team of the potential use cases of the product, and then your UI expert or your development or your full stack developer, they would be coming up with ideally a different solution, which may or may not take more time than you initially projected it to be, but that's going to be for long term, which means you're not going to have to go back and forth, because now that you have like a crystal clear idea of how your own customers are going to be using this particular feature. So even before the feature is getting ready, you can have very well and crystal clear plan of how you must be building it, right? With that said, I can give you like another example here. So we promoted a product. I don't want to name the product here. So we promoted the product last year, and with the help of our community feedback, they have ideally found out where exactly and what exactly they must be building right from the core of the product, not just the future, but also when you get like thousands of new customers from us or from any kind of promotional campaign, when you're getting more and more new customers. So you can easily plan how your infrastructure could be slightly changed, altered, not only the future, but also the past. You can go back to past, and that's something good about SaaS, right? You can also always go back to past and then make some changes to the product before you start building up new features. That's exactly this company is doing today. So community-led feedback is like super, super important, but also what's super important is you do the research by bringing the sense of community, like ask everyone about how exactly they're looking to use the product, use the feature, and then you start building it, right? So just to give an idea, this product I'm talking about, they have got like 350 plus new ideas from the promotion. So which gave them a crystal clear roadmap of where they want to head towards for the next 18 months when competing with the competitors. So that's the kind of feedback I'm talking about here. So, and then when you ask questions to your customers, they also start having this sense of being a part of the product, right? It's your product and it's their ideas, their suggestions, but then they're going to feel like they are part of the founding members of the product. And when you start listening to them actively, they're going to keep on pouring you like more and more new feedback. So all your customers, like I call them like early stage adopters, because no matter whatever the stage your product is in, say we are like Series A today, and then we are going to get like 5,000 new customers, and then when we get a Series B, all the customers we got on at Series A, they are like early stage customers, right? So that's exactly how you must be saying it. Based on early stage adopters, early stage customers of your product, you can refine the product really, really well when moving to the future. And just to give you a heads up, you are going to receive like tons of feedback. We are talking about like literally tons of feedback. So it's very easy for you to get bombarded with so many feature requests, so many suggestions, so many ideas that you could easily get lost, which is why I initially recommended you to put up like some sort of like a roadmap tool or even Trello to begin with, where you can have all the ideas added. So, but then what's most important is you should not be starting to build all the features that are being requested for. It may sound that I'm going back and forth on my own words, but I'm not. Listen to me. So when you get requested with like tons of features, you cannot or you don't have time all the time in the world to build all of them. But what's very important is pick the features that are going to be helpful for you and for your product to grow in the niche that you're planning to grow. For example, let's just say that you have been building a CRM for real estate agents, right? And now some of them are going to be asking for you to build an email automation solution within your CRM product. Let's just say it's going to take like 5-6 months of time to build this. Of course, you can still reach out, you can still get like a lot of new customers, and building an email automation will help you stay ahead of your competitors. There's like lots of ways that you can look into it. But then instead of building it, what you could actually do is ask your community of what email automation tools that they're currently using. And then instead of building it, you start integrating with them. That will easily save you at least 2-3 months of time, right? Instead of building it on your own. And here's the challenge, and when you start building an email solution, email automation solution within a CRM product, you're going to be asked like a lot of new features within the email automation tool. Instead, you might as well just integrate with popular solutions that your customers are already using. So this will save you a lot of time and money, and you can invest that time and money to further build on other features that your other customers are asking for. So it's very important, like what exactly that people are asking for, how exactly they're planning to use it, and then you, with your drawing board, you have to basically analyze like everything about what are the drawbacks, what are the pros, basically put up like a SWOT chart, and then see how quickly you can achieve the solution without bending your back, right? Now, to the last section that I really want to discuss with you today is, okay, now that you have collected the feedback, fantastic, you have organized it even well, and you have also discussed and identified the features that you're going to build. Great. And now that you have started to build the feature, and here comes the most important part, is you should not be like building everything at once, which I told you earlier, but it's also equally important to analyze how these features are being used especially by the customers who have requested for them. It's super important because this will help you shape up your roadmap really, really well. The super important thing here is there's like a couple of features that you have built and that's ready to go live. Before you start pushing it to live to everyone, you need to start reaching out to people who have requested for those features. Ask them if they would like to become a beta tester for those features. So it's going to serve two purposes. One, they're going to be like very, very happy that you have listened to them and you are inviting them to become a beta tester, because it's like making them feel more privileged. Super important, right? And two is, with their feedback, you're going to refine and fine tune and iron out all the bugs and fixes or errors, whatever that's going to throw up. You're going to fix them, and then you're going to refine it properly, make sure it works stable before you roll it out to all your customers. And this also make your existing customers who are part of your community, they're going to feel really better about what you have currently built based on their feedback. That's a fantastic one, because you're basically creating like a proper win-win scenario here. So one, you're going to reach out to them because they have requested for the feature, and two, you're going to collect their input to validate. I wouldn't say like validate, it's more like based on their input, you're going to fix the bugs and make sure the features are stable before rolling it out to everyone. So, and then comes the other important element here, which is how often these features are being used by those who requested for it. Because unless and until, if you want to keep on building new features, but there's no one is properly using it, there's no engagement for those features, it just basically serves like no purpose at all, because you have been building it, but no one's using it. So make sure you use tools like Mixpanel or Heap or at least like Google Events, Google Tag Manager, or something of that you're comfortable with, to start analyzing how these features are being used. If you think that you have built a fantastic feature of your product, but then no one is using it, here's a growth tip, here's a simple tip that you can try utilizing. Start coming up with multiple use cases of how your customers should be using these features. So with that, you can start sending out emails to every customer, telling them how exactly they can put them in a drip campaign, start shooting them emails, telling them how they could use this particular feature. So this will push more people to start using these features. If that doesn't, focus on, like out of 100 customers, focus on just 20 people who are going to be actively using these features, and then try jumping on a call with them, understand how these new features that you have built with the help of community-based feedback has been helpful for them and what results they have achieved. And then turn that into a case study or a success story, and then start shooting it to other 80 people who are not touching this, right? Now, this is going to create a sense of urgency for them to go ahead, or sense of curiosity, I must say, for them to push themselves to go ahead and start trying these new features. And eventually, this could also be helpful for you to scale up your product and bring in more and more premium features that will be also be helpful for your product's growth as well. So I believe there's like a lot that you have learned, but feel free to reach out to me either via organizer, or you can just reach out to me via hello@saasmentor.com, and I'm more than happy to add more suggestions and whatever the intel that I can share with you based on my experience and expertise in this. So just to quickly recap, make sure you build a community today. This is going to be action item. So you make sure you build a community for your product today. If you already have a community, start creating something where you can constantly trigger your customers to share the feedback with you or suggest features with you. 3, start collecting all those features and make sure you're going to validate all those features before you start building it. And 4, constantly engage with your customers and keep track of how these features that you have been building are being used. If not, start push them to make sure they're going to use it. You have spent a lot of time building it, so it's your duty to make sure they're going to be using it. So with that said, it's Sampath signing off. It's nice meeting you today. Cheers. Have a wonderful day and see you on the other side. Bye.